Hi guys, welcome to today's reading on your narcissistic mother and why she refuses accountability. So for group one, we have this blue calcite Merkaba star and opportunity. For group two, ask help from others and this snow quartz. For group three, within the next few months, and this record keeper quartz. So go ahead and select your pile using your intuition, and I will see you in your reading. Okay, hi group one, those of you who picked this blue calcite Merkaba star, this is your reading on your narcissistic mother and why she refuses accountability. So, here we have ego in reverse, the illusion of being trapped, accept responsibility for your situation, and then make choices that support your path to happiness, addictions, or unhealthy habits. We have Virgin in reverse, which is the shadow attribute, fear of intimate union. We have the Wheel of Fortune, Two of Wands, and other cards, and I'll probably touch on them as I go along. So what I get with Virgin in reverse and this ego card and opportunity is I get that your mother, with this Virgin in reverse, it's like somebody who struggles with intimate relationships, right? And, I'm seeing this tied with the Wheel of Fortune and someone who hasn't had much luck with intimate relationships and expressing themselves or their feelings or anything like that. I see your mother as someone who is more opportunistic. Like, I'm just getting this vision of someone sitting down and kind of like on a therapist chair or a couch and just expressing their emotions and talking about how they feel. And I feel like the only time that your mother ever does express herself is so that she can get validation from someone else. It's never for the purpose of self-reflection or to really better a situation. We have external validation here in reverse, and we have the headphones. So it's like with this, I'm getting someone who is blocked off. It's like someone who puts on a set of headphones and is blocking off any outside noise unless it's for the purpose of being validated. Like that's the only time they want to hear someone's opinion or someone's feedback. Is more for that purpose than for accepting any sort of feedback or accountability or responsibility or anything like that. It's just more like I'm getting this vibe of somebody who gossips, and that's sort of what their intimate relationships are about. Is like I'm just getting this thing of like someone who complains a lot or gossips a lot, or what's that called, where you're I don't want to say trauma bonding, but it's like that type of relationship where it's not generally for the purpose of bettering yourself or expressing yourself. Here we have Heart of God in reverse and the light field in reverse. And I'm seeing this again tied to this fear of intimate unions, where there's like vulnerability and other things like that that are involved that really bring you closer together. It's just really for the purpose of validation. So, and I'm getting this with opportunity. I'm getting like somebody who doesn't see a purpose in like in relationships. I don't want to say they don't see a purpose in relationships. They're just more opportunistic with their relationships. It's always them trying to get something out of it, And when I think about the question of why they refuse accountability, so there's a sense of fear, ambush fear with your ferocious dream, and I'm getting like this elephant too here. There's literally an elephant with its third eye activated, and I'm getting with the elephant is like someone who has a very long history of being very stubborn in relationships, you know, getting that with Taurus right here and Virgin in reverse, um, and just being very stubborn and I think afraid, um, like afraid, and with the elephant, it's like you know they have very long memories. Um, it's like someone who maybe has tried one time or at some point in their life to um, I'm just getting, you know, with the blue here too, is someone that has trouble communicating properly. I have to say properly because it's really just for the purpose of validation. So if you do come to them and have any sort of concern or any issue, I feel like this person will shut down your expression because they're like they do that with themselves, right? Or like I wish I'm struggling to even explain this properly. And I feel like this is connected to how this person is like they're looking more here with the Two of Wands. You know, again, it's more opportunistic. Here we see the word influence. Um, it's like they communicate for the purpose of influencing others to validate what their position is, what they think. Um, and anything that sort of goes against that gets shut down really quickly because there's no benefit in that for them, you know. It's just getting someone who's very closed off in their heart, and not just in their heart. I mean, ultimately, it is in their heart, right? Here with Heart of God in reverse, um, is like yeah, it's like they're more concerned about having influence and using people for opportunistic purposes, you know? And I feel like if they ever really did try and take accountability, um, that's like outside of their plans with this Two of Wands here. It's like outside of their plans, outside of how they perceive their luck to play out. Um, you know, it's very ego driven. You know, we literally have the ego card right here. And so, you know, I just feel like this is the way this person is set up, but it didn't start off like that with this elephant. It's like, you know, I'm thinking of the elephants whose, you know, mother has been killed or some damage has been done to them. Like they'll remember that for a very, very long time and they don't forget it. And with this, I'm getting this righteousness, this self righteousness that comes with this person where they don't forgive and they don't forget. And for them to take any accountability would mean that there's they're not validating their own feelings or they're not validating other people won't validate them or how hard they've worked or what they've done. It's like someone who's been hurt in the past and as a result has decided to shut themselves down from really communicating in an intimate and vulnerable way and it has instead seen it as more beneficial for them to operate in a more opportunistic way where they can influence others and control. I'm getting a controlling feeling now. Control how other people perceive like how people perceive them. It's like someone that's just closed off, very, very closed off. Um, and so this person has had a lot of luck, you know, with this Wheel of Fortune. Um, they've had a lot of luck being like this, and they feel very confident being like this, you know, because there's this ambush fear with your ferocious dreams. Like I'm just getting something with fear and ferocious. Like there's like this ferocious fear of not just them expressing themselves in a like in a more authentic way, but also other people expressing themselves in an authentic way. It's like they're gonna tune it out. Like they don't want to hear it. It's not part of their plans. It's not what they want. It takes away their influence. Like yeah, it's like this controlling feeling that I'm getting from this person. Like this person likes to control situations, and tries to manipulate them in a way to benefit them, you know? And with the gossiping I was talking about earlier, is like, I just got this person is like a complete gossiper. They like to sway other people's opinions. They want to look good. They want to look like they're just so concerned. I don't know, it's really driven by fear, you know? And I'm also getting this message with the light field and the heart of God in reverse, and creative expression, that there's this sense of this person being stuck, you know, and not being aware of that. Um, like when I see this picture of, I'm taking this, well, this is an angel. I was taking it as an angel until I saw the wing, and it is an angel, and this person being stuck and being blindfolded. And just like, when I see this woman, it looks like she's sort of dancing, um, and not even realizing that she was shackled. And so I see this person sort of putting on a performance. This person likes to put on a performance, um, likes to look good doing that, and but is sort of trapped and is stuck. And I'm seeing the cocoon right now of this butterfly is like still in the cocoon, hasn't sort of like went through that struggle. Like when I think of the transformation of a butterfly, and coming out of the cocoon and going through that transformation, and really struggling to get to the other side of, that sort of personal development, or that dark night of the soul. Like, because when I talk about this thing that's happened in the past with this elephant, or of this really traumatic or difficult emotional situation that's happened, it's like this person was never able to, has shut something down emotionally. Like they have never been able to move past it and come out of that cocoon, or go through that dark night of the soul, or go through that transformation to come out on the other side with their heart open. Like they've never healed from something. And so instead, they're in this cycle of being stuck. And not even knowing about it. And with this in reverse, it's like this angel kind of comes in when you go through that process. I feel like there's this angel, or there's some help that comes in that frees you from this like restriction, or this thing that holds you back, from really being a fuller expression of yourself, and being like sort of like your purpose. Like with the light field and the heart of God, I'm getting this sense of like, this person doesn't really have a very grounded sense of purpose that's sort of like deep and heart filled, because there's this sort of block in the way that they are, or the way that they communicate, and the way that they're always seeking validation, the way that they've have a fear of these intimate relationships, which is really like a block on their heart. And so why does your narcissistic mother avoid accountability and refuse accountability? Um, it's really because of fear, and being stuck in this cocoon, and by that I mean not wanting to go through that process. Like I'm seeing something completely disintegrate. I'm seeing like a tower where something completely disintegrates. Like and I'm thinking of something that I heard online of people talking about healing and saying, you don't have to heal, you just have to never do that again. Never put yourself in that situation again. Never blah, blah, blah. It's like someone that gets hurt by something and completely closes themselves off from it. And that changes you. If you kind of go through life refusing to really, like, I feel like shed layers. Like I feel like there's this thing with your mother where she has refused to shed layers, and instead is holding on something from a very long time ago. Um, yeah. And I think also what is also keeping her stuck is that, you know, maybe if she did take some accountability for whatever this was in the past, um, something would have changed. Something would have changed. Um, like a opportunity would have presented itself. Something good would have come. Maybe she would have a stronger sense of completion, a stronger sense of purpose, and been more like powerful as opposed to thinking that that's made her weak. Like, you know, this is like an old school. I'm getting like an old school mentality, right? Because I'm seeing Aquarius right here. Um, you know, yeah, like I'm getting like this Aquarius of like, sort of like a new way of thinking and, that has come out of this dark night of the soul and continuing to have these intimate relationships, or like transforming as a result of whatever did happen in the past. Um, like I feel like I'm starting to lose my words again. Um, and I'm getting sort of like blocked off and I'm just feeling, these headphones is like this person can only go so far before they have to put the blindfold on, before they have to start performing, before they have to start blocking out what people have to say or what people have to think. Um, and go back into this performance that they do, because they associate that with things getting better. It's kind of like, when you're at a fork in the road, you can go this way and you can go that way. Like some shit happened to you, and are you gonna go to the path of saying, like fuck this shit, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm never gonna, like, kind of closing yourself off and just going down this path of, not giving a fuck and saying I'm never gonna do this again. I'm never gonna be hurt again. I'm never gonna blah blah blah. Or you can go down this path of like, more self-reflection and taking accountability and sort of like processing that. And if you never kind of go down the path of taking accountability, you can never see, what the outcome of that or the blessings that come out of that, could have been. Instead, you went down this road and, have taken it upon yourself to create your own luck, to create your own. Because I'm getting that this person works hard. Like maybe, there is some hardworking practical aspect because I'm getting this Capricorn sort of feeling about this person. And it's more like, I don't know, it's like being at the surface. Like I feel that this person really lives at the surface, of life, you know, um, like they're very surface level. I don't want to say materialistic per se, um, but even in the relationships, it's very surface level. Like, um, this is this it really is narcissistic, um, things being for show. And again, I guess when you live like that, I mean, there probably are benefits that do come with that, and so this person associates their luck with that, and so this is why they refuse to be accountable, because they don't have to be. They don't have to be. They'd rather work on putting on a performance and creating an illusion for others and influencing others so that they can get what they want, you know. But I feel like it's a lot of work for them. And uh, there's like a sense of like unhappiness with this person. Um, I don't know. I almost feeling like a shell of a person because I'm looking at this woman here, and I don't know. It kind of looks like she has these little teardrops under her eyes, and I'm seeing that associated with the heart of God and the light field in reverse, which is like this block of, um, this sense of peace and serenity. That's what I'm getting with this, and tranquility, in their emotions, and that's why this performance has to always be there. They have to work so hard to manufacture. I just got manufacturing, because I'm seeing this opalite right here. I have a bunch of crystals up here, and this is like a man-made, um, stone. Wait, I said, did I say opalite? I think it's an opalite. Yeah, it's like a man-made stone, right? This is manufactured and man-made. And I think that this person sees like, hey, I have to do this on my own. I have to I have to control things. I have to control people. I have to again, it's like this song and dance, this actor, this person who's playing a role. And part of that role means that they have to block out the naysayers. I mean, maybe this person sees you as a naysayer or sees you as someone that goes against the work that they're putting in, this performance that they're putting in, this illusion that they're trying to create, so that they can stay safe in this cocoon and not have to actually do the work to, push themselves out of it and to go through this. Like, I just heard resurrection, like, I'm getting death and transformation and, you know, it's like version 2.0. Like they don't want to be, I think many of us, like through our lives, it's like we go through these different versions of ourselves, it's like version 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, like, after these major things that happen in our lives, right? And there's the ups and downs that come with that. It's like we're going through this cocooning process and rebirth process many times. But there's like grief and sadness and all these things that come with doing that. It's like the dark night of the soul. And I don't know, it's like this person is stuck, and I'm seeing these fives is in that middle stage and has been there for a long time. But I get that this person could also be, I'm seeing the number 63 now, and that's where I get this old school mentality, or, is aging now. And a lot of this stuff comes from the very, very past with this elephant. And I'm getting that someone took something from them, because I'm looking at was it called like the tusks? How people kill elephants for their ivory. Yeah, they're called tusks. I think that's what they're called. Took something like from them, and that's where I think, and that person did that because they were opportunistic. And so it's like that saying of, if you can't beat them, join them, and so that goes back to what I was saying about going down and being at a fork in the road. Are you going to go down the road of, I can't beat them, so I might as well join them? Or are you going to go through this sort of like rebirth and like healing and going to this next version of yourself, and it bringing you closer to who you are or further away? Or is it going to close off your heart, or is it going to open it up more? And I hope you guys get what I'm saying. I think you guys are getting what I'm saying. So yeah, so that's what I'm getting with why she refuses accountability. She's like just seeks validation for her choice to go down this path of being opportunistic and, being hurt in the past and deciding that if I couldn't have beat them back then I might as well join them and do what they do, or what they've done to me, I can do to others. And what I'm getting to is, like, I was watching this, it wasn't a podcast, but it was like, a panel discussion of, the younger generation, older generation, and sort of having this difference of opinion on, and just noticing certain qualities. Like, I feel like this is a very common thing for this age group, to sort of block off the expression of other people, and then wanting to hold their truth as the right truth and putting on this show and this performance, so that other people can validate them and so that they can have influence over others, and not realizing that there is a different way. Or maybe they do realize it, but I'm getting this black and white thinking as opposed to having all these colors. And so that's how this person sees it. is like things are black and white, you know. There's not enough space for me to, um, if I take accountability, if I acknowledge this, it's too much color, it's too much gray area. It has to be black and white, you know. So yeah, so that's what I'm getting with your narcissistic mother. Why she refuses accountability. It's really, I think, a choice that happened a very, very long time ago, um, based on some shit that's happened in the past, where um, the only way that she could really establish her confidence and to sort of like get the things that she wants is to be more like somebody who's hurt her in the past, and um, take that approach of being more opportunistic and doing whatever she can to, you know, put on this show and have this influence over people and things and whatever around her. And part of that comes with having to kind of like not care so much about people, but care more about outcomes and how she can influence those outcomes. Um, because having a new way of thinking, and going down a different path at this point, it's too much fear. And I think, you know, here we say ambush. It says ambush fear with your ferocious dream. I'm getting she's going to be ambushed with this ferocious fear, um, that's going to come through her heart. It's like, you know, people kind of want to avoid pain. Some people struggle with emotional pain. Um, and I'm getting like a child or someone that's very young and having to deal with emotional pain, or never um, going through that grieving process. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing with this cocoon and this butterfly. Is like, you know, that's the type of transformation. It's a grieving process, never completing it. Um, yeah, and instead, I am seeing like it's not the antlers, but the antennas. Yeah, the antennas just continuing to grow out further and further. And by that, I'm getting this message of like, instead, their radar is just up, you know, and of, you know, this performance. What more do I have to do, and what do I have to block out? What do I have to control? What do I have to? Um, it's like I'm getting this image of like, you know, a tree. Okay, or I know this person who is very short for their height, and they were meant to be taller. And so, you know, I remember he was telling me that a while ago, that he was meant to be taller. I'm like, how do you know that you were meant to be taller? And so, you know the Leonardo da Vinci, the Vitruvian Man. It's like a man that stands like that, and his arms are up, and it's like we're all very proportionate as humans. If you bend and you touch your foot, and you raise your one hand up, when you stand up, you're at the same height. So like essentially, the length of your arms spread out this way is going to be your height when you bend over and reach up, right? So he was showing me how his arms are a lot longer, and meaning that he was short. And he was talking about back home when he was younger, there was a shortage of food, and so they weren't able to eat, and he wasn't able to get the nutrition, and so it kind of stunted his growth. I'm getting that. I'm getting that image of like this person being stunted in their growth, their emotional growth. And instead of growing along emotional lines, they had to grow along other lines to compensate for that. And so, like the ways that they've grown, it's like is in a more controlling, opportunistic, practical. I want to say practical is in what they deem to be practical way, as opposed to like having relationships. They're like, I got to do this on my own. So how can I? Because you know, when you have relationships, like, you know, people that like you, that you're close to, want to help you out. You know, there's like this social safety, or there's things that you can get from people to help you out. Like we all need people, right? And because this person wasn't able to really have that, they've had to go about it in a different way to get things from people that they think that they need. And so this is one of their tactics, right? And part of that means that they have to refuse taking any accountability, because this is what they have to do, and this is the path that they chose. So I hope that makes sense. If you guys like this reading, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this reading. If it resonated, please leave a comment. I will see you guys in the next reading. Take care. Bye. Okay, hi group 2, those of you who picked this snow quartz. This is your reading on your narcissistic mother and why she refuses accountability. So right here with sacrifice, you can see this guy, you know, he just seems a little like pissed off, right? He's throwing I don't know, there's some coconuts that have split open at the bottom. And so I'm just feeling him as being the one to throw these coconuts and then breaking them in half, just out of frustration, out of, I would say, like an emotional disturbance. I feel like your mother is like, I want to say emotionally disturbed. You know, sometimes surrender is painful. God's cutting away all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. And, you know, we're getting let go over here, let go. We're getting blending with spirit, which to me is also letting go. When you're blending something, you're letting go. Another reason why I think that there's this emotional, I want to say disturbance, like falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, and invitation to a social event. We have the Knight of Water here, emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, contemplative, yeah. So anyways, I'm getting someone who's very emotional, and I think it's very much tied to their sense of worth, their sense of value. I'm getting like your mother is someone who maybe has, you know, with this Tau Setians, resilient, bold, sassy, you know, I'm getting this feeling of someone who has like an attitude or has like these emotional outbursts. And it's tied to feelings of frustration, low self-esteem, low self-worth. You know, because I'm looking at this image of, you know, I keep being pulled into the ears, being pointy, or being different. I mean, this is obviously like an alien. Like I'm just feeling something like there's something with this person's brain, you know, your mother's brain. You know, I'm getting that with this snow quartz is this is a good stone for your crown, and I'm associating it with the brain and the way that somebody thinks. And it's good for clarity and clear thinking. But with that, I'm getting that there's, and I'm seeing this head here too. I'm getting the clouds and the thoughts that come into this person's brain. So I'm getting like that. And with this Ace of Wands, I'm getting more and more confirmations that this is correct. You know, the things that pop up into their mind, you know, with the wands are very like hot, like they come in hot, you know, they come in, heavy and hot and quick. It's like a very quick instinct to be frustrated, to be bent out of shape, to want to, maybe this person is a little bit like they break things. Maybe your mother breaks things. Maybe, you know, with the word sacrifice, I'm seeing like somebody who maybe feels like they've sacrificed so much, you know, and maybe they had you young. You know, I'm getting that with this number 40. Like maybe they're 40 now. Maybe uh, yeah, I just get that this person's in a lot of pain, and the stuff that comes to their mind, it's very triggering. It just like comes in quickly, comes in hot. They're triggered. It's rooted in like their self-worth, not feeling good enough, having a lot of pain around their self-worth, their emotions being out of balance. And I'm remembering somebody who I knew in the past that was an emotional person, but very kind as well, but had this like really, really hot temper in the sense that they seem to always, not always, but a lot of times take things to heart in a way that um, like shows that they struggle with their self-esteem or they have an issue and they're triggered and then they put it on the next person. So for example, it's like if like say you're helping someone out and then all of a sudden like you're not trying to make them feel bad about it or feel like you're better than them or whatever, but then they have this thing of like, oh, you think that you're better than me because you're helping me, you think this, or like it's someone that just the way that they think or the way that their brain is like it goes back to this sense of like low self-worth or um you know yeah, like something like that, like they're it's like like the baby of the family. I don't know, I'm getting this example too. Like say you come from a big family and then there's the baby of the family and they always feel like they're not as like even though they could be 40, they're grown now. They always have this feeling that, you know, people talk down to them like they don't know anything or something like that because of, just they were the last born and, throughout time growing up, they were always the youngest. And so they've have this thing of like, um, you get what I'm saying? Like they have these thoughts that come in that oh, they think that they're better than me. They think that they're smarter than me. They think they know more than me. They're always telling me what to do. It's like some type of thing that gets triggered, and it has to do with how they feel of themselves. And so instead of like taking that accountability of like, um, or letting go of these things, and I feel like maturing, I feel like there's some stuff that needs some maturing, and taking accountability for their own feelings and their own reactions. I feel like they just feel justified. They feel justified to react this way because of something that someone else did. And with this ask for help from others, it's like they struggle to ask for help from others because that's going to trigger their low self-worth, you know, because of the shit that they're holding on to. So like to really be accountable, like why is it that they refuse to be accountable? I feel like it's because they're always reacting. They're always reacting and like playing this script in their mind of the things that they've had to sacrifice, the things that they've missed out on. It's like, here, literally, sometimes surrender is painful. God's cutting away all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. I feel like there's like an obsession in their brain in the way that they think, that gives them a bad attitude. Like with this resilient, bold, and sassy, like I'm getting this sassiness and this attitude with like the way her arms are crossed. It's like an attitude and this outburst. And it's kind of like I'm saying, like the youngest born. You know how like the youngest can sometimes throw a tantrum and then get her way? I'm feeling that type of thing is like that's been the pattern, and it's like based on this like this thought pattern that happens, that comes into her mind, gets triggered, and then reacting in this emotional outburst, because of this low sense of self-worth, and then um, you know, having an attitude about it, because it's like the script keeps replaying itself, but it's like, why? like, why does she refuse to take accountability? And the answer to that is because then this person is going to need to ask help from others. You know, they're going to need other people's help. And that's sort of like the sacrifice that they're going to make. And I just heard like the ultimate sacrifice. Like, for them, that's like the ultimate sacrifice is asking someone else for help because they want to prove that they're good enough to do it on their own or to um, not need someone's help. You know what I mean? Because it makes them feel less than to ask for help, to get ideas from others. You know? Yeah, like that's what I'm getting. And, with these birds here, it's like these birds are working as birds of a feather flock together. Birds work together. They flock together. Um, and I feel that this person also, because I'm seeing this spaceship, is like this person feels like they don't belong um, in the flock. They don't belong in the flock is, and it has to do with their worth. So maybe, I don't know, like I keep referring back to this person's placement in their own family of origin, like growing up. Um, because you're saying the natural cycle, so I'm feeling like it's where they were placed. Um, yeah, that has affected their sense of worth. Um, Maybe they felt like they weren't as important. They weren't as established, or they were like, some stuff like that from the past that they're holding on to, that runs through their mind and sets them off and gives them some type of attitude where they don't want to ask anyone for help and they don't want to let go of this, even at their old age. I mean, they're not old, but I'm getting this sense of 40 and wholeness. It's like the age of maturing and, spiritually and feeling whole. Like people say, once a woman kind of gets into her 30s or 40s, like that's when, you go through this real spiritual, thing where you come into yourself and try to let go and of the past and, really become mature. But there's like a sacrifice of that comes with that. And I feel like, you know, that sacrifice, because here, this is sacrifice. This person doesn't want to sacrifice the storyline. Yeah, it's like they don't want to sacrifice the storyline. Um, because they feel like an outsider to others. Like, you know, I'm getting the example of someone who, I mean, obviously this is your mother, so this person had kids, so this isn't the best example. But someone who didn't follow like the path that was maybe laid out or that was typical in their family or something. Um, and they just somehow feel different from others. And yeah, so that's really why they refuse accountability. It's because of this obsession with the way that they think and the thoughts that come into their mind. And I feel like they struggle to blend with other people, to get along with other people, to ask others for help without being triggered. Um, it's very triggering for them. Um, all cutting away all that needs to go. So yeah, so that's what I'm getting is like um, their attitude is like um, is what's making them refuse to be accountable. It's the storyline, it's the attitude, it's ooh, I just got envy. I just got envy of others, being envious of others, comparing themselves to others, not feeling a sense of wholeness, not wanting to release things of the past so that way they can balance their emotions and their temper tantrums and their stuff like that, you know. Um, I don't know, I keep getting something with these pointy ears. Like, what does that mean? Does this person have something about them that makes them feel less than in their appearance? Um, Something that makes them feel alien, something that makes them feel um, maybe also the way that this person dresses, your mother dresses, is in a way that stands out. Um, I don't know, like I'm getting like this young mom as well, with this 40 and seeing the way that this woman dresses. Like, I don't know, someone kind of hipsterish, someone that goes against the grain. Um, yeah, so anyways, that's what I'm getting with why she refuses to be accountable. It's just like this emotional imbalance, like these temper tantrums, frustration, anger, um, being delusional, sticking to a script that comes to her mind. It pops in and she's not able to control it. That's how she releases it. Like, okay, so yeah, this is what I'm getting to, is that this storyline that pops into her head that makes her feel like a low self-worth is um, it's like she gets a release from it by throwing a tantrum, as opposed to actually releasing it by letting go of the storyline, you know? So it's like the more that, yeah, yeah. It's like that's how she releases it, by throwing a tantrum. And I mean, that's kind of what she has to stop doing. Because there's a sense of alienation that comes from that. And that just reinforces the cycle. Like I just saw that natural cycle, it reinforces the cycle. And I'm getting that now. I'm seeing the V formation of birds, and usually it's the weaker one that stays at the back. And I'm getting that she will always stay at the back if she keeps continuing that cycle and having that attitude, and not genuinely asking others for help and realizing that she does need help. Um, yeah, I think this person sometimes takes on too much. Um, More that they can hold on to. And when I say, maybe you can look at this person and say, oh, they're not taking on that much, but maybe they are, but maybe it's that it's too much for them to hold, because they don't release things. They don't actually release it from their mind and their body and stuff. Like they just hold on to it, and it's like more is piled on, more is piled on. And what I mean by releasing, it's like releasing the old stories, releasing just the past. So yeah, so that's what I'm getting for you guys, group 2. That is your reading on your narcissistic mother, why she refuses accountability. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next reading. Hope this was helpful. Take care. Bye. Hi, group 3, those of you who picked this record keeper quartz. This is your reading on your narcissistic mother and why she refuses accountability. So for this group of cards that I was selecting, the first, I think, 3 decks that I picked out, 2 actually popped out. So we have doubles, so 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and then I'm seeing like the sun and the moon. I'm seeing, like, I'm just getting this sense of doubles, like even with this good juju card, like these 2s. So I'm getting like these 2s. And I just heard tit for tat. And with this record keeper, even when I think about it, it's, I just got programmable, and I got keeping score. So, and I just saw yes. Okay, so why she refuses accountability. I'm just getting with this Apprentice of Swords. As someone who is so like closed off, because I'm seeing it with this this bridge in this 5 of Cups, like of grief, and I, when I see this bridge, I'm thinking of someone who builds bridges, connects to things, or moves on, from, we see this water, or grief or sadness, and is able to move on from it. And I'm getting with your mother, it's like, with the sword rammed through the books, it's like a closed book, a dagger going through it. With this in reverse is like being unable to build bridges, being unable to, like, understand or learn, or being just closed off from it. And with the doubles, it's like with the twos, I'm getting like that being multiplied, and I'm also getting that as like someone who's very quick to keep score, keep a tally, you know, and with this Queen of Swords is like strength, ambition, truth. I'm getting someone who, is just cannot be honest. Like, it's someone that's more fixated on, feeling betrayed, feeling hurt, wanting to keep track and keep score of things, you know? So, like, where does accountability fit into that? It kind of doesn't, right? Um, it does not. It does not fit into it. Um, yeah, I just get that, you know, let me explain. So, yeah, I'm even right now, I'm like, I'm feeling this vibration in my hands. I feel like either their body, now I'm just thinking of like a Gabor Mate, like that book is like, what's it called? The Body Keeps Score, or something like that. Like, he's talking about being stressed, and I think he's talking about addiction, or something like that, where it's like the body keeps score, or it's like things are stored. Same with this record keeper. Like, it can be programmed, it can be, information is said to be stored in it, for like psychics, or I don't know, people who work with this record keeper. And I feel like your mother is somebody who, keeps score of things. Just, I don't know if it's her body keeping the score, her mind, because here we're getting a lot of swords. Um, I'm getting a mental aspect to keeping score, right? Because with temperance here, like, this is a card of, healing, and emotional healing I'm getting with this, and, balancing, you know? So, yeah, so I'm just getting this thing of like, your mother is more invested in keeping score of things, keeping records of things, keeping a tally of, what's happened and what's not happened. And I feel like it's a very mental process for her. And you would think that, like, there's something that doesn't fully make sense to me about this, because you would think that you could even see it with this character right here, right? Like, he's sitting here looking at this going on, and it looks like, almost like a science sort of thing, where he's looking at it and he's kind of observing it and keeping score of it, and it's like a very analytical sort of process. Like, there's a detachment, with how he's doing it. And I guess that's the mental aspect, is the emotions aren't, involved. It's a very analytical process of, keeping track and keeping score. And with the flags that I'm seeing on him, like, I'm just seeing, like, I'm getting a sense of like independence, independence and detachment, you know. And so, here, let's see what this says. Strength. I lean on you. Make me ready to call on you even in the most confusing situations, large or small. Let me include you. May I lean on your strength, knowing your grace can unravel any dilemma. So I feel like, um, yeah, like, there's something, because here we have strength, and I feel like there's another strength somewhere. Maybe it's with this good juju. card. There's something with strength or weakness, right? Oh, the weakness. Okay. I'm seeing, okay, yeah, I'm getting it as a weakness. Is this, maybe it's like an overthinking, over analyzing, doing it from a very detached sort of state of mind, looking at things in black and white terms, thinking that you have the truth in your hands. I'm just seeing that this is associated with the lack of accountability. It's wanting to look at things from a very detached perspective, wanting to isolate certain things, keep track of it, keep score of it, and not seeing the two. Like I'm seeing like there's twos, here there's twos, there's twos coming up. But when they're observing it, they're just observing one aspect of it. So it's like they're not really able to get a right full picture of something when they're unhappy with it. She's not able to build a bridge to the other side of it, to the other aspect of the truth, to someone else's truth, because she looks at it just from a perspective of a detached perspective, like an mental aspect, an analytical aspect. Meanwhile, there's parts of it that overlap, right? Like, okay, it's just, this is a confusing thing because I feel like this is the confusing part about it. And I'm seeing this word confusing situations. I feel like she lacks accountability because she's confused. Just confused, very confused. With the Page of Cups, I feel that this is someone who lacks sensitivity, lacks sort of like a balance in how they weigh things and how they measure things, and how they keep track and how they keep records. And there's like an unhappiness with this. Yeah, so this is like a very kind of confusing and unclear energy, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know, I feel like this doesn't make sense. Like things don't make sense to this person. Yeah, they don't make sense. Because it's like, okay, you know what I'm comparing this to now? You know, say you're doing a medical study, like you're testing out a new drug on a bunch of patients, and you're just making notes of all the symptoms, and you're keeping all these observations and these, you know, you're keeping records, you're keeping track, and now you have all this data, and you have to consolidate it in a way that's meaningful and makes sense. And that is going to say, is this helpful? Is this going to improve? It's like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, and then I'm getting this thing of, not having a large enough data set to work with. I'm not having enough information to work with to draw any conclusions from. You know, yeah, like, it's just like keeping records of stuff, and it's like I'm getting like a hoarder, like someone that wants to keep a lot of information, but not being able to draw a conclusion from it, not being able to build that bridge to the other side. You know, like the outcome is like, and you know, and this is, I want to say this is like a cop out. I mean, obviously it's a cop out. Not being accountable is a cop out. You know, but then also at the same time, it's like wanting to be very independent, like wanting to, I'm getting a researching vibe, wanting to have an independent study of this situation and gathering all the data and keeping the records of you did this first and I did this and da da da. Like it's takes out like an element of it reminds me of like I used to get into arguments with somebody, and every time we'd get into an argument, and it would just take so long to come to any conclusion because they would talk and talk about everything that's happened, and they would go step by step. You did this first, then I did this, and then this happened, and then this, and then this, and like, and I'd be like, I was there, like I know what happened, but it's like there's so much focus on keeping of the records of and not on building the bridge, getting to the conclusion. You know, it's like and I'm thinking of a friend that I have who is, God rest his soul because he passed away. So there's something about a past life here as well, where he's a pharmaceutical consultant, and so his job is to interact with nurses and medical professionals who use certain pharmaceutical drugs, and to do the record keeping of side effects, symptoms, and they go back to he's told me, and he doesn't take any medications because he said like there's medications that came out that don't affect you, but they'll affect your offspring 3 generations down the road, and they track these things, right? But they can never come to a full conclusion because they're more taking in information, So that's what I'm getting with this reading. Is this person is constantly gathering information and not coming to conclusions with it. And it's sort of like a cowardly, detached approach. I have to call it cowardly because there's no action involved. I don't know why I keep saying cowardly, because there's a disconnection. There's a disconnection with the emotional aspect of it. And there's something with this good juju in reverse. I don't know, maybe this person's had a lot of luck with this in their career, or has a job where um, they just have to keep track and keep records and keep data and things like that, you know? And like I keep going back to pharmaceutical companies who do not take accountability for the effects of their medications on people sometimes. I'm getting like lawsuits or things where people put in claims against them and saying that, I don't know, like something where, but they're too busy observing and keeping records of the effects and what happened and da da da, that may I lean on your strength, knowing your grace can unravel any dilemma. Yeah, it's like they don't know what to do with all the information that they have. That's they don't know how to build the bridge. They don't know how to come to a conclusion. So it's like, how can they be accountable? Because they're not balancing some emotional aspect to it. And so I don't know. I'm just getting this feeling of like they'd have better luck if they stopped doing this, you know? I feel like they do this with a good intention, or maybe there's a positive intention. Yes, I just got confirmation. They do this with like a good intention to heal something. But it's like, again, with medication, it's supposed to heal you, right? They do it with an intention to heal or to whatever, but there's damage that's caused by it, like and yeah, so like anyways, going back to your mother, this is what I'm getting on why she refuses accountability. It just seems like it's more she's just detached and is approaching it like a science, like the scientific method, or approaching healing things like that, like how a pharmaceutical company tries to heal patients by gathering data, information on medications, on the side effects, the adverse effects, the weight gain, how this changed, is it a placebo, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just all of this sort of stuff. It's like just keeping these enormous amounts of records and for years and years and years and generations going back and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it just seems so much, like it just seems like a lot. And yeah, like it's a strength that they have to be like this, but then I think it's also a cowardly thing, given certain circumstances, like maybe personal accountability. So that's what I'm getting with your reading, guys. I hope this information was helpful for you. Hope it gave you some insight. If you like the reading, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next reading. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.